Okay, so this video is for my MMA and my jiu-jitsu guys. So today I think what we're gonna do is I'm gonna try and make a ground and pound bag. I've got some tires over there. I'm saving that for a punch bag I'm gonna try and make. But today we're gonna try and make a ground and pound dummy bag thing. So let's see how it goes.
So we're gonna need an old hoodie, some old joggers, loads and loads of old clothes, lots of duct tape, and some wire that you can bend. So I'm going to put a link in the description for the metal wire that I used, but getting straight into it. So the first thing we need to do is we need to tape up the ends with duct tape. So the ends of the sleeves and the ends of the joggers, we need to tape that up because obviously we don't want any clothes falling out. We're going to use these as like the basis to make the shape for our dummy. So a lot of this footage is probably going to be speeded up, and you're going to see a lot of my dogs as well. The whole time they were just running around. So yeah, so this is what it should look like. So the ends there are taped up, and Otis is interrupting the frame again. Get used to that. So yeah, just like that. Not hard, not neat. Doesn't have to be neat. Just has to work. So next we're just prepping a little bit. So we're going to be cutting up some of the clothes. So you're not going to need this just yet, but it's handy just to have it ready for later on. We need it for the little bits and some other touches. So it's getting this done now and out of the way. So once we've got a few bits cut up and ready, we're going to get straight into it, and we're going to start molding the metal frame to the shape we kind of want. So we're just shaping it into like a long U shape at the moment. So this is for the trousers, and as you can see there, I'm just making sure it fits, ready to go. Doesn't have to be perfect, just something roughly. Next though, you want to do this. So some of the fabric that we cut up earlier, we're just going to place on the ends of the metal wire, and we're just going to tape around it with the duct tape. Last thing we want is the ends of the metal wire poking out whilst we're using the dummy, and yeah, that could cause some accidents. So getting that taped up straight away, just something like that. Doesn't look neat again, it's like a little bit like a chicken leg. So yeah, both sides, get that done. Okay, there we go, easy peasy. Right, next up, all we're going to do is going to get some of the old clothes again. Doesn't need to be cut up, and we're just going to wrap it around loosely around the wire, just making sure the wire is covered up, because last thing we want is once we've got the dummy all taped up, we don't want any of the hard wire against the edges, because if you punch that without any gloves on, that's going to hurt. So just making sure it's nice and padded. It doesn't have to look neat, just as you can see there, nice and easy. Alright, there we go. That's what it should look like, something like that. Doesn't have to look perfect, and the good thing about using the metal wire, you don't have to use it, but if you do use it, you will have bendy limbs, which is pretty cool. So yeah, that's why I'm using the wire.
Okay, so that's the bottom half done. Well, the frame prepped anyway. Okay, so now we've got to make the frame for the top. But first, I need to go make some dinner because I'm hungry.
So once you've had your well-deserved break, we're going to move on to the upper body. So just lay down the metal wire, and all you're going to do is just going to bend the wire just so you get like a rough idea of the shape. You can get your hoodie and place it over just to make sure that it is the right size. It doesn't have to be perfect, as long as it's going to fit into the hoodie. So roughly something like that. Doesn't look perfect, but it'll work. Okay, so next up, once we've got the rough shape we want, we're just going to put it underneath and through the bottom half, and then we're just going to shape it again so it's square on. We don't have a wonky body. And then we're going to use the duct tape again just to tape the two halves together, so we have nearly a complete body, well, a complete frame. So then we're going to go straight into covering the frame again, exactly the same as like we did with the legs. Just going to loosely wrap around the wire, make sure there's no wire showing. Just make sure it's kind of tight with the duct tape, because you don't want it like moving around too much. You just want it nice and tight, but it doesn't have to be neat. You don't have to cover every single gap, you know. Just as long as it's on there, that's the main thing. And don't forget to tape up the edges as well, just like we did on the bottom, because we don't want that wire sticking out. So yeah, it should look something like that. So it's looking like a cool little alien man at the moment, but I promise it will turn out better. So next up we get to dress our doll, the bit we've all been waiting for. There we go, it fits nicely. So once we got it fitted on there, we're just going to place it back down and we're going to start stuffing it with the clothes. You'll be really surprised of how much clothes actually fit in there. And you do want to pack it up quite tight, because once you get the tape around it, it's going to squash it even more. So you want to make sure it's nice and tight in there and cover all around the wire. Try and spread it as evenly as you can. With the legs, it probably doesn't matter so much because we're not going to be punching the legs or anything. Well, you might do, but it doesn't have to look perfect. Just try and spread out as evenly as you can. So it should look something like this. It might look like I've put too much clothes in there, or when you do it, it might look like there's too much, but don't worry, because when you put the tape on it, it's just going to flatten and squash it right down. So it'll be nice and compact and tight. So yeah, once you're ready, once you've got you think you've got the right amount of clothes in there, you're just going to tape it around roughly, just to hold it in place. We're not going to go too neat just yet. Just want to hold it in place so we can move on to the upper body. Okay, there we go. So it should look something along the lines of that. So once we've got the bottom half done, now we're going to move on to the top half. So I started off with, I used a blanket, so I'm just going to wrap it around the torso area and then just tape it into place. Again, this part, just make sure it's tight on there. It doesn't have to be too neat, but just this part, you really want to try and compact this part now, because this is going to be the bulk of where you're punching and the most activity is going to be. So you want this bit to be nice and solid. So just bend the arms so it's going to be a bit easier to put the hoodie on. Notice where we tied up the ends on the sleeves earlier, that's stopping the wire from coming through now. So that's why we do that. Once you've got the hoodie on, you're just going to adjust it now just so it's all in the right place. And now we're ready for the fun part. We're going to start filling it up. More clothes. I'm just going to start ramming it in there. We're going to start with the arms. Going to get both arms done. And once we've got both arms nice and compact, we're going to start taping up the core. So we're going to tape up around the waist area, both sides. And now we're just going to get it all in there. Both sides, don't forget to put it in the back as well. Just try and make sure it's nice and spread out. You want to fill it up so it looks nice and puffy like this, because when we get the duct tape on it, it's going to really compact it and make it nice and tight. This part is really satisfying now because we're starting to see the progress. So with the duct tape, you're going to get it nice and tight around the core. You want to really compact all those clothes around the arms as well. So it should look something like this so far. I'm just going to give it a little try, I think. Yep, have that. Boom. Okay, so it's nice and solid. And now we're going to start on the head. So you really want to make this nice and compact as well. Like the chest, really get all those clothes in there. Force it in there. If you've got strings as well, it really helps. It helps tighten up the head, make it into a nice solid shape. I'm just going to add that tape on now, making sure it's nice and tight. You want this bit really compact because it's going to take a beating. If you want to be extra like me, you can even put some old shoes on there.
So it's starting to get dark now and we're so close to finish it. All I need to do is just taper the rest of it up and go over a few times, make it look nice and tidy, maybe finish it in the morning, and then tomorrow we're going to try it out, see if it's any good. I'm excited.
Well, looking at it in the better light in the next day, I wasn't really happy with the waist area. So all I did is I just took a little bit of tape off and I just started packing up again until I was happy. So if you don't pack it up enough at one point, you know, it's not the end of the world. You just open it back up, stick some more clothes in there, and tape it up again. So now this is the nice part, the really satisfying part. We're going to start taping the whole thing up. So I'll just let it play for a moment.
So I've finally finished it. I must say the legs look a bit deformed, but that's not the important part. I can punch the hell out of this thing. It is nice and solid. So yeah, I think we should do a little demonstration and see how it goes. Mum's trying it out. What do you think, Mum?
Literally, that's very good. I've got sort of.
So overall, even though it does look a little bit deformed, that was the best time I've had training in, well, since the lockdown started. But yeah, nice and easy, very cheap. All you need is duct tape and clothes really, and if you have got wire, use wire. I don't think that's essential though. But yeah, you might need some duct tape just to wrap it up every now and then. I think after a bit of use you would start to see some cuts and stuff and that, but so a lot cheaper than buying one. It just takes a little bit of time to make it, about a day, if that, not very long. Totally worth it, especially if you don't want to buy an expensive one. All it needs is a bit of duct tape every now and then just to keep it maintained. And yeah, that was fun. Definitely worth it. Give it a try.
Hope that helps. If you like the video, we really appreciate if you subscribe and drop a comment or a like as well. Thanks a lot.